Thank you, Mayor, and good morning. I think maybe for the first time in a long time, we have the authentic voice of the community through Destination 2040 of our people with regard to the future and to the dreams of Lexington. We've had a significant number of citizens come around the project, and I just want to tell you quickly some of the numbers that we've had. Total of about 3,000 citizens participated in this project. We had about 140 different community meetings that occurred through the process. We had just over 100 people receive training as volunteer citizen facilitators to lead sessions. Had about 120 different groups of identifiable groups that were involved in the process that offered their meetings and their membership to participate. We had also some very involved citizens that helped us after we gained a lot of the public input through the engagement process, through either membership on a work team or a steering committee. Our steering committee had 15 members, and our work team had 36 different people who, again, were representative of the entire community, who came and helped us work through all of the public input, stretch that into what you will find in the Destination 2040 report. Let me tell you just quickly how the report is divided. As you will look at it, there is some broad vision language that you will find. There are 4 divisions that we use that the mayor mentioned to try to make talking about a comprehensive view of all of community life easy to do and manageable. Those 4 divisions were human needs, physical growth, economic expansion, and cultural creativity. And you will find a statement for each of those areas in the report. You're also going to find 4 informing statements, we call them, which are themes that came through very clearly and very strong through all of the sessions that were had that really are important to pay attention to as we go forward with the implementation of the process. We'll be talking about those in depth this afternoon. There are 90 different strategies in this report, 75 approaches that relate to the 4 areas that we talked about, and there are 15 what we call momentum builders that are more fleshed out ideas that are contained in this report that cover 5 different areas. And again, I would really like to thank the members of our work team and steering committee who we estimate volunteered somewhere in the order of a couple of thousand of community service volunteer hours working on this project during the past year. Just in a nutshell, the broadest language that we will be talking about today that came out of the vision is this. Lexington basically has a vision that will be stated as follows: great city life in a productive rural paradise. And a sentence that follows that fleshes that out a bit more: Lexington will be one of the world's great mid-sized cities by striking and sustaining a brilliant balance of dynamic urban living and a matchless rural setting. If you could put the vision in 3 words, it would be this: keep our balance. People recognize that we have a very precious balance between urban and rural living in this community, and they want both of those to thrive, and it's important to find the way to do that. We have a past pattern in this community, unfortunately, at times I think of lining up across from each other over issues, and we are hopeful that Destination 2040 will provide a vision that we can all focus on and center on as we move forward, and that will give us a common purpose and help us to unite and work together. It's okay to have different viewpoints and different opinions about how things should be done in the city, but rather than lining up across our community and taking each other to task, if we just have a vision to focus on that we all agree on, I think that would be an important asset to help us to move the community forward from our different vantage points. A bit of work that we've paid attention to over time is Jim Collins' work, Good to Great. He's talking about real transformation here. He says he's talking about transformation in mainly corporate structures. He said in each of these good to great transformations we found the same thing. There was no miracle moment. Instead, a down-to-earth, pragmatic, committed to excellence process, a framework kept each company, its leaders, and its people on track for the long haul. He's since adapted that work to public life, and that principle still holds true. And we hope that that framework that's mentioned here, which is very pragmatic, it is down to earth, it is committed to excellence, will be what Destination 2040 ultimately becomes for this community, is that framework by which we can move forward. So thank you for your time, and I think, are we ready for questions? Okay, thank you.
Any questions from the media?
In regard to the keeping that balance, is there any particular issues that were identified in any of them that people were really wanting to see within the next few years, whether it be from keeping the rural paradise or something that would help improve city life? Were there certain issues that were more hot button than others in that comprehensive?
There were, and the way, again, that we divided this work up was into 4 manageable segments. Each of those had about 8 or 9 different elements beneath them, and the public was allowed to choose 4 of those and emphasize those to move forward. And so they did that for each of the 4 areas that we talked about. Really, you know, the thing that I will go back to is that what we heard loud and clear from the public is that we know we're going to grow. We know our community, that we want it to prosper. We know we're going to have to work regionally with our neighbors in a better way than we have in the past to make that happen. And that basically, one of those key findings that the mayor mentioned was that all actions that we undertake ought to be pursued in a way that consistently honors and maintains the balance. The balance really is the focal point, and the initiatives that come forward in the future or any of these ideas that are followed up on, the question that ought to be asked by many community entities, not just City Hall, but our business community, our neighborhoods, our educational community, all of those, is how does this initiative support this vision moving forward? And if it doesn't align well with the vision, perhaps we should tweak it in order to do so, because again, I do think you've got the authentic community voice here that says this is how we want to move forward.
Let me just expand on one thing that Charlie said. We sought information from the community a couple of different ways. We had a series of meetings all across the community, face-to-face encounters with folks. And then in addition to that, we did a fairly comprehensive scientific survey of the community. What we found was the results from both the face-to-face meetings as well as the information from the survey came back and said virtually the same thing. That is that we've got to find a way to balance all of these competing needs in our community. And we've got to get out of the business of looking at things in black and white terms, either a situation where we're not going to grow at all or where we're going to pave paradise and put up a parking lot. You know, we can't have those either or choices. We've got to find ways to balance our need to grow with our need to preserve in the physical growth arena particularly. And we see examples of those balances throughout the areas that Destination 2040 examines. So I found it reaffirming that we got same results from looking at it a couple of different ways. Anything further? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.